Good to have you with us. You're with the news here on Mirror Now. My name is Apurva Sridhar. Straight up to our top focus story. As India gears up for the general elections, the threat of fake news continues to be a huge concern. Just last 1 week, there has been a split in the fake news and misinformation on social media, with tensions rising between India and Pakistan, and the fact checkers have had a very busy week. Mirror Now caught up with Aseem Jakar, who is a security researcher and co-founder Nalcon. He shared some quick tips that you and your family can do to fact-check news you read and the videos and the pictures you receive on platforms like WhatsApp.
Aseem Jakar, the co-founder of Nalcon, joins us right now. So thank you so much for joining us. First question, with general elections coming up, do you believe that disinformation is going to go up, and how, as people who receive that information, should act responsibly?
Oh yes, so fake news is definitely going to spread. We've seen this in all different elections as well. And this is something that you can't stop, because these are messages sent by people. So what I do personally is I do not trust any forwarded videos or any forwarded messages.
So and we're going to come to that, but this is a very interesting point that you put up. Do you believe that the onus is on social media platforms? Do you believe they're doing enough? Because a lot of platforms, without naming any, have received a lot of flack recently. And more importantly, I was talking to a gentleman earlier who said that it's not just a responsibility of social media platforms, but also government entities. What do you have to say?
I would say it should be owned by the platforms, should be owned by the government, should be owned by media houses, and should be owned by the citizens as well. So for example, from the citizen perspective, I do not trust any videos coming in on any social media platform. If there is any news that comes up, I go and look at the news portals. So for example, Times, BBC, whatever. If it's there, I would tend to trust it. But if it's not there, I would wait till the time the news comes up. So from citizens' perspective, I think you should just stop forwarding messages and not believe any forwarded messages that come to you.
We all know of WhatsApp uncles, and like you said, forwarded message is something that we shouldn't believe. So give us a step-by-step fact check on how we should check whether something is true or not.
So it's pretty simple, and there's no science behind it. As soon as you receive a video or a forwarded text about some information, I go back to the search engines. I look for the news, and if I find that some news agency has published this news, I go and read that text instead of the forwarded one, because even if it is true, there might be some content which is being added there. So it's better that you go ahead and read on the news portals. Yeah. I think the responsible handles should follow the same process as well. It's not difficult to do. You just need to search and find a verifiable source. Verifiable source for me is media and government.
And a quick word of caution going into elections for people who are watching at this point.
Yeah, stop watching videos. It's not fun. You're not doing any benefit. You're not learning anything from forwarded videos. If you really want to expand your knowledge, go to news portals. That's more effective.
My colleague Amita now joins me live with more on this. Amita, that was a very interesting conversation that you had with Mr. Aseem Jakar, the security researcher and the co-founder of Nalcon. But for the benefit of our viewers, if you can help us understand, what are the kind of tips that has been shared, and how can people be really spared from this entire menace of fake news?
Well, like you heard, Apurva, the biggest point to be noted here is that stop forwarding videos, and we've seen a spurt of that fake news in the last one and a half weeks, considering the environment has been very, very sensitive, and fake news generally tends to go up when environment is sensitive. Going into elections, experts believe that that is only likely to go up. So first of all, stop watching and forwarding unverified videos that you receive on WhatsApp and other social media platforms, and more importantly, always go back, like Aseem was pointing out, go back to a news portal and check and verify whether these videos are in fact true, and so you can attribute it to one particular news portal. And more importantly, do not forward videos. And we've seen in the last 1 week, in fact I was talking to a couple of fact checkers as well, especially Alt News, who told us that the last 1 week has been particularly busy for them, busting these stories of a lot of things that have been happening in the last 1 week, considering the conflict between the two countries has gone up. And every time the environment is sensitive, they say this fake news is only going to spurt. So the biggest word of caution is do not forward videos on social media platforms.
Alright, so the biggest word of caution there coming in is to stop forwarding fake news and also just go to the verified handles. But Amita, help us understand this. What happens if one of the verified handles in this case perhaps goes on to promote fake news? In that case, what should people be really doing?
Well, that was the question that I also posed to Aseem, but you know, there is only so much that you can do at the end of the day is what he says. He says that verified handles also should act more responsibly, but more importantly, instead of going to verified you know, individual handles on Twitter, etc., go to the news portals, like he pointed out, to see if those videos are in fact true or not.
Alright, so the word coming in is to go to verifiable source, perhaps the media or the government. But also, Amita, one quick question before I let you go. What happens to the kind of fake news that is there? Now, social media is a humongous platform. We've seen in the past platforms like Facebook, YouTube come up with their own methods to tackle fake news. Now, where does the onus really lie? If there is any kind of fake news that is circulated, are social media solely responsible for this?
Well, not really. It's also partly with the government to introduce more regulations, because like you pointed out, we've seen a number of regulations coming in from social media platforms in the last 2 weeks. And in fact, experts believe that will go up with elections coming up. But it's also the onus of people who are forwarding these videos, which is why it's very important to go back and look for a verifiable source before one does that.
Alright, so quick words of caution they're coming in for all those people, especially in the light of fake news being a big menace. One of the things of stop to forwarding, just stop forwarding all the news that is coming in. Go to verifiable source, go to the government website to check the source instead of just blankly following all of these news and forwarding it to your own people. For the moment, Amita, many thanks for joining us and getting us all those quick tips.